What's up, dude?
Not too much, man.
Man.
You should have trained for Unbound, and you should be there now. Everybody's there now.
Dude, I was just texting a friend the other day. Like, I have built up a bunch of fitness, but I have nothing to use it on right now. I've just been going out on these like solo rides, like just riding hard for no reason whatsoever. And I'm
Good. Hey,
frustrated by it.
You came back from Seattle and you never took the gas off.
Dude, Sea Otter sparked something. It was like,
Right.
Oh, I remember why I like to ride my bike so much. And
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, and it was like so fun to be around like all of the new tech and like just people excited about that. Like, I mean, I like bikes and I like to think that bikes are a big part of my life, but there's some people out there that the bike defines who they are.
Yeah.
Just regular people. Like, and I remember thinking of like walking around Sea Otter, just looking at these families that clearly all they do in all of their free time is go ride bikes. Like, and I was like,
seriously.
yeah. And I kind of wonder, am like, is that a dream of mine or is it like not? Because I don't know. Because like I've always been this kind of person that has like 8 different hobbies, and I rotate and I obsess over hobbies. Like, but biking's always in the background. But I don't know if I could only do bikes because I want to ski, I want to climb, I want to run, I want to do all these other things.
I mean, I think so. I think I'm lucky with the whole. Obviously, a huge identity of mine is biking, but then the other really big hobby is I love like technology. Like I like making videos. So I think I've arrived at what that's the bandwidth I have for the stuff that I'm willing to do. So I think I'm good. I think I'm right where I need to be. Honestly. Yeah.
I guess the question for the listeners is, can bikes define your life, or can they define your life in a bad way? Right? Like, because some people, man, I mean, they get obsessed with the bike and then they just never see their families again, and then they're like divorced and and then they start doing Ironmans at that point.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. The bike is an addiction sometimes, and it's like a good addiction or a bad addiction. And I think you found the right place, like right in between, where it's like content and adventure and like where that meets in the middle. But
because like you said, I like to go camping, but then usually I take my bike with me, right? So I'm doing another hobby, but also I'm doing the biking is incorporated. But I think you're right though. I think you can overdo it. I think you can overdo it in the wrong circles.
Yeah.
Right.
You want to know how how to know when you've crossed the line and you're overdoing it?
Yeah.
It's when you've had a few too many drinks and you made dinner and you've done and you put the kids down and you're like, I'm flying high right now. And then you suggest to your wife that you are going to fly your bike to Croatia on our vacation so you can ride a little bit. And that was, I will just
sounds like you're speaking from experience.
It was, yeah, I would not recommend suggesting that. It was met not kindly.
With furious opposition from the leader.
Dude, not even furious opposition, just a death stare. She didn't even say no. She didn't even say no.
You see, that's the worst. It was when you get even no response.
I know. It was this, like, we're watching a movie. She's like watching the movie, and I say that, and she goes,
"Yeah, you messed up." I never like to be at that receiving end of that no response.
No. Well, should we do we've waxed poetic on bike addiction and things like that.
Yeah.
So should I introduce the podcast? I guess I should. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode, an abbreviated episode.
And now a new home.
So to the Mixed Surfaces podcast. So we are happy to announce today, big announcement. We have our own YouTube channel now, separating from Aria's Iowa Gravel Gang. So we'll link that in the show notes. But go and like, subscribe, hype the video, watch the video through. It's great to put on for your kids. I'll tell you that. Like, just put it on and let them fall asleep to it or something like that. But no, we're super excited about it. It'll allow us to grow kind of organically and separately from the Iowa Gravel Gang. But Yeah, so we are building up to Unbound this weekend. A lot of questions in the air as far as what the conditions are going to look like. What people are riding, who's getting their win, who's excited, who's not. Lots of things to talk about, but as always, want to thank our partners. I'll run through them really quickly. Obed Bikes, Real and Nutrition, Olive Oil, Flat Tire Bikes, Volet Factory Apparel. Check out them for great apparel. Z&G Partners, and who am I forgetting?
I think we got them all. Yeah.
World of Bikes. Forgot about World of Bikes,
And
which, I saw World of Bikes. There was like a fire or something down the street and they shut down the other day. What happened?
yesterday, it was some kind of accident. So I'm not sure, but yeah, the sirens were mega because I'm not very far from World of Bikes, so I can usually hear the activity.
Yeah, I actually DM'd them. Julian told me that Egan actually tried to do a tubeless setup and it exploded. He tried to put silk sealant in a tire that already had stands in it. It's like if you cross the streams, it just explodes.
Dude, so one time in the winter, I was sitting my tires. I think it was like right at the end of like in Iowa. It was like right when the weather started to get warm. But it was still cold.
Like June or July.
No. I think it was like maybe March. Maybe I was getting ready to prep for like Mid-South or something. And my air chuck on my wheel, like I didn't realize my valve core, my valve stem was damaged. So, and I was using compressor. And I got to the right, I didn't have it set. I had it set to maximum PSI of 120, but I wanted to remove it after the tire was seated. I couldn't remove it. And then I like shoot, and I panicked. I tried to reach for the off switch. It was too late. That thing hit my hand so hard. Like I spent probably 3 hours. I couldn't feel my left hand. It was insane.
Tubeless setup explosions are. It's like concussive how loud it is.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, and like. Those guys doing the fat tire setups, like if you ever walk into a shop and they're doing a fat tire tubeless setup, turn around and walk out because the risk is not worth the reward.
Don't be part of it,
dude. Yeah, it is insane. And then you just get painted with sealant.
Yeah,
too. Just it's
speckles everywhere. And if you know so have you seen that new? I need to see if I can find it here, but so. People are now talking tubeless. The old school tubeless is gone. Now what people are doing is they're getting those ultra thin polyethylene tubes and filling that with sealant, and then putting that in the tire.
Here's my thought is that if no matter what, the casing of the tire is far more resistant to puncture than those really thin Tubelito tubes. So if something has gone through your tire and punctured the thick rubber on your tire, what's gonna stop it from puncturing your little tube? And then at what does it do for you at that point?
Yeah, and I can see where I can see the thought process behind it, but I'm not completely behind it.
No, enlighten me, because I see zero thought process behind it.
The only thought process I see is you don't want to create a mess, right? Containing the sealant. But that's only assuming you're not going to flat.
Exactly.
So if you have that piece, then it makes sense, in my opinion.
Well,
I think that's the thought process.
Here's my other thing, though, is that the sealant, like when you seat a tire, like you're setting up tubeless, and you put sealant in there, like that sealant bubbles out of all of the little creases, right? So, I think that helps to seal that initially, because what happens, I don't know, the sealant's going to dry out in the tube or in the tire. So if the sealant dries out in the tube, and then you say you get a little air leak, somewhere, and then you puncture, you're done. It doesn't do as, I don't know. Maybe we should write Josh Portner at Silka and ask him to weigh in on this.
Yeah, I'm curious to know if, I saw that, I don't know. I think at that point, just write a regular tube and just patch it when it happens. I
Yeah.
think you have two things. You have the sealant that you're wasting, and then the tube, little tube also. So it's
Well,
makes no sense.
what about like a layer cake where you have tire,
Yeah.
sealant, tube, sealant?
Now that I don't know though. Like I feel like the sealant would form a weird lubrication thing around the tube, and
Yeah.
then maybe sealing the tire might be difficult. I don't know, but yeah, it's
Yeah.
to me it sounds like you mentioned. Just leave it alone. Put your sealant in the tire where it's designed to coat the tire, and be done with it.
Yeah.
Either that or just ride tubes.
You want to hear my hot take on this whole like
Yeah.
flatting situation? I think some people flat and some people don't.
That's true.
I think that so like yesterday I rode up to the Ocoee, which is like an hour north of here. It's like where the gnarliest gravel is around here.
Yeah.
Did like a little 27-mile ride. It was up, it was down, and it was like rutted out. And I won't lie, I was doing a descent and I got a little Cindy on the descent, and I came around a turn and all of a sudden there was a rut, and I ended up in that
Ooh.
rut bouncing over like sharp rocks, like almost got bucked off.
Oh no, dude!
Saved it.
Ah!
But my bike was hitting against like sharp rocks, and I didn't
And you
flat.
could hear the rim, huh?
No, I'm not gonna say that. This is a sponsored bike, so I'm not gonna say that. The rims are totally fine.
I think they'll be happy that the bike survived and you survived.
The bike definitely survived. It's a little muddy, but yeah. So, but like I flatted on off road one time ever, and the only reason I flatted was because I hadn't refreshed my sealant in like 3 months.
Oh, yeah.
So I
Yeah.
just like I feel like this whole concept of flatting, I just don't get it. I don't get it because
No,
I don't
I
flat.
think, and the thing, like you said though, it really comes down to your riding style. I think if you're in a group where you can't always choose your line, which the majority of us are not in that situation, I think then there's a higher chance of flatting because then you can't always take your line.
I disagree totally.
You think so?
Yeah, because like yesterday, so the gravel out here is not like gravel. It's like gravel, and then it's like really a lot of limestone and sandstone
Yeah.
here. So there'll be like a limestone seam that runs through the gravel, like across the road. So you'll have like these sharp rocks, and when you're doing these descents, like you just got to hit that stuff and you got to run it. But I
Yeah.
think it's about your bike handling ability and the
Yeah.
ability to like keep your weight centered and allow the front end to come up and allow the back end to come up and just like be loose on the hand, like loose on the
Yeah.
bars. Because I think what happens when people flat is that they're gripping the bike and they're planted and they just
Yep.
slam into something. But like
Yeah, I agree. And that's something I brought up quite a bit in my videos when it's like when I'm descending, especially when you're descending, you're going crazy, is remembering to unweight because, and I think like you said, it's a big part of it comes from bike handling also, because some people feel more comfortable descending sitting down, right? It's in their saddle.
no.
Some
that's
people
the dumb-
do it, all right?
Well, they're
If,
wrong.
you know, if-
they're wrong.
If not used to off-road riding, some people are like in the saddle, right? So remembering to get off that saddle when you're hitting those things at high speed, I think is key for sure. But yes, unweighting and then popping your tire up when you see a rock coming and all that fun stuff.
Pro tip
Yeah.
for anyone listening to the podcast that is afraid of descending: stand up,
Yeah.
drop your heels, and get your weight back. Like that's all you gotta do.
And let the bike dance. Dude,
surf,
yeah,
surf the bike.
I think that's one of the best feelings for me is when you're doing like 25, 30 miles an hour, like on a nice downhill, low rocky, low choppy, wash body, and your heels are dropped, and the bike is, because I think like if you look down, you could see your bike doing exactly what it was designed to do.
Exactly.
And it's such a beautiful thing. Poetry
Dude,
in motion, some would
I mean,
say.
that's what I've said. Like this bike, like with these bigger tires, I have never, even on my mountain bike, like relative, like, okay, obviously you can do a whole lot more on your mountain bike as far as the terrain, but the
Yeah.
confidence, like for the terrain on like this bike is insane. And
those
like,
wide tires too.
it's the wide tires. I think it's the geometry, and I think it's just like the way the bike's built. But yeah. All right. I know we don't have a whole lot of time, so we talked about Unbound last week. There have been a few developments that we probably want to hit on a little bit. So, should we talk about Cam?
Yeah, that's what everybody's talking about. The other one too is Alexi is now one of those bike PRN builders. He had a new video of him building his Unbound bike, but Cam's story is way more exciting, I feel like.
Yeah. So y'all should go check this out. There have been a few articles, but Scott released that the Cam Jones and Robin Gimperle, he was the Tour Divide winner last year. He's riding the Unbound 350 XL, and Cam's obviously the defending champion for the Unbound 200. But they are going to be riding on prototype 32s. So it's Scott has released their prototype, not for public. I think it's called the Scott RC, which is stands for race concept. But yeah, it's going to be 32-inch wheels on this beast. I think they've got I9. Shout out to I9 out of Asheville. They've got some. Cam's got I9 custom wheels on there, and they're running Schwalbe G1 RX. So the more burly gravel tires. But yeah, so like the I guess whitewashed quote from Cam was that he feels like he's floating over the gravel, and that everyone else is going to be racing gravel bikes while he's on a road bike. So he feels pretty confident about his chances, I think. But pretty interesting. The other interesting thing too is, so Robin Gimperle, he's doing the Unbound 350. So Cam runs Shimano, so he's got the GRX derailleur in the back. I think he's just got the whole GRX set up. But actually, I think he has an XTR rear set and derailleur. So maybe he's got the bigger gearing. But Robin is running a 46 one by through SRAM. But I was thinking about this. 46 is a big gear in the first place. But a 46 now with a 32-inch wheel means that it's an even taller gear.
Yeah.
So I was just thinking about that. Like, the gear ratio now is like way wider as far as the range, but it's definitely steeper on the tall end, because like a 46 on a 29-inch wheel versus a 46 on a 32-inch wheel, the circumference is so much longer, or I guess longer, that it takes more to turn that wheel over. So I don't know if anybody's thought about that with this whole 32.
Yeah. I need to find the article. I was trying to find it here while you're kind of describing the situation. I do have the link in the description if you want to check the article out. But I hear it's obviously much, much faster than a 29er. I'm not sure how much faster it is though.
But why? Why is it faster? Like I guess I don't really understand.
I think it's what's the word? So when you go from a 27, the rolling diameter,
like rolling resistance.
No, you end up having more. Let's see. So I forget what the term, but it's just the bigger the wheel, the more contact surface you have, the more parts. So you have more tire on the ground at all times. So that's going to result in better control. And also you got more traction, I think. And then you get with a little bit wider patch, I think you get more speed. I might be but I think it's something along those lines. That's why when people went from the 27.5 to a 29er, mountain bike, it was much faster than the 27 when you went to 29.
Yeah.
And then you also have the 26, so big difference. Obviously, the one thing to worry about is if the bike is not designed well for shorter riders. Do you remember the 27.5 mountain bikes?
Yeah.
When they went 29, they would make the size small or extra small, and the smaller riders, they didn't want to adapt to the 29 mountain bikes because it just didn't feel right. And I don't know if because you remember at Seattle, the one of the engineers was telling us like the sweet spot is like 5'6" and above. Like any shorter, then it's gonna have some serious design issues. So I don't know we're gonna see extra smalls or smalls. Salsa had it, remember?
And it looked so weird.
It looked weird.
It looked weird. But like I feel like, you know, I'm 6'1". Like, you know, my dad's 6'5". I think like not for me necessarily, but for him, like 32-inch wheel makes a lot of like sense.
Yeah, it's good. It's supposed to be faster, so we'll see. You think? I mean, and also, do you think in modern times, in the current times of Unbound, that the same guy could win it back to back?
Oh yeah, this year I think
You think so?
Oh yeah, I think the dynamic has changed completely. At least in the men's race, like you have the Canyon team, you've got the Scott team, you got the Specialized team, you got Panormal, you got Lunchbox, lower tier, but you know still up there. I think that like I was nerding out a little bit, and I was doing like a preview of the course a little bit, looking on VeloViewer and a few things, and I think there are some deciding points where the wind is going to play a big role, like some of these west-east sections that we're doing, where if a team decides to start pulling, you know, it's going to make a big difference. Like I think what we'll see this year is that there will be a decided road-like breakaway with certain riders allowed to go in it. I think there'll be a fight for the break. And then certain riders will be allowed to go in the break. And I bet you're going to see a Canyon rider, a Panorama rider.
Yeah.
I don't think you'll see a Specialized rider because it's really only Keegan and Beers. But like that's another thing, because if they don't get into the break, then, you know, if Brennan gets in there, you know, one of Braden's teammates, say, you know, like Chad Haga gets in for Panormal, and you know all of these teams have representation. Like what that is going to mean is that, you know, for the other 5 teammates, which is 5 times 4 or 5, 25 riders now, are not going to be doing anything. They're just going to be sitting back. And so,
oh man, it's going to be Burma.
And they're going to look at Keegan and Matt and say like,
hey, it's your race to lose.
Your race to lose. Like you better go win it. And so, I mean, I think that's what makes this race really cool, is that if that happens, which I think it will.
It's going to annoy the old school purists of Unbound.
What'd you say?
Oh, it might annoy the old school purists of Unbound.
It is. Yeah, but that's gone. That's gone. But like, it is going to be interesting because I think, you know, it's, I don't know. It means like a racer like Brennan could win.
Yeah.
Like, because if you know the right breakaway gets up the road and it's got the right riders in it, and the team dynamics play, then, you know, who knows? Like, I mean, all these guys have contracts, and I would wager, especially like Keegan and Beers and Braden, they probably have bonus structures set in to say like, if our team wins, then you get this much money. If you win, you get this much money. And so like his teammates are going to be in the same boat. Say he gets like $100K from Canyon if he wins, and then every support rider gets $25K. I mean, these support riders know that they're not going to win, so like that would be pretty sweet, you know. Like a nice little bonus.
Let's still make some money here, but just slowing down the progress. You know, which is kind of a bummer, though, right? Like if you look now at like guys on the smaller teams, like if you look at Dylan's, you know, him and Roberts, right? I forget what their team name is. You know, those guys, unless they get locking in the break, they have
no chance, dude.
Right?
Yeah.
Justin, you know, friend of the channel, like all those guys, individual riders, like you kind of done for. And I think the privateer model is good, but I think it's quickly dying as now that you have these big teams. And I know Brennan said, you know, there's, you know, Scott doesn't have like a thing telling him, hey, you have to race for Cam and vice versa. So but you know, they might want to do something on their own for their brand, right? Mm-hmm. Because they win, you know, you sell more bikes and the brand is happy, you know. So it's gonna be interesting.
I would bet. I mean, Scott, if Scott's gonna put Cam on this, so like Scott, going back to the 32-inch announcement, like in their press release that I got, it said in bold, Scott has no plans on producing these bikes for the public. These are just prototype bikes. Like, they made a big deal out of like saying that. But don't you know that if they're going to put Cam Jones on a 32-inch prototype bike, that they are going up to Brennan and these guys and being like, hey,
yeah,
we need a little help here, and if you do, we're gonna line your pockets and throw you one of these bikes too, because it really would be for Scott. I think, the difference. I mean, for 32-inch bikes as a whole, right? Like, all of these bikes up until this point have been these little like prototype, like cute little looking bikes, that are steel or from small little brands. But Scott went out and made a race bike, and if they win on that race bike, then that's it, man. Like, not track, but like, all these other more innovative, specialized and stuff, 32 inches are going to be hitting the market. Because I think everybody's afraid, with just like with 29ers back in the day, like, no one wanted to be first. No one wants to be last, but no one wants to be first, because if they go make molds and they like stock up on inventory and like release it to the public, like, is the market going to consume that? Like, no one wants to be the guinea pig there. No. So Scott doing this is like, I think their way to tiptoe into the waters a little bit and say, okay, well, if we win, we've got a golden ticket. Yeah. And if not, then like, okay, cool, we didn't like actually do anything. So
and it's time to win, because all the gravel dads with a lot of cash, as soon as Cam wins on that 32, even if it's not a Scott bike, they're gonna want it. They're gonna want that, because that's you're buying speed.
And white gravel dads are almost always over 6 feet, so they're gonna want those bigger bikes.
They want those massive. I don't know, man. It's crazy looking. It's almost looks like one of those mini Tonka trucks. It's all wheel. I remember the first time I saw that 32-inch tire, like, whoa.
I think I would like it, like on a large or an extra large frame. I think it looks cool. It doesn't change the bike that I'm going to get next. I'm not going to wait around for Obed to make a 32, but because they make a GVR that I can't wait to ride. But yeah, I think it'll be interesting. And
so the other elephant in the room, a race is huge when I was looking here, they even the traffic management has already released traffic alternates for the whole Emporia and surrounding areas there in anticipation for the race. Now the wildcard is the rain. There's some rain. Have you looked at has anybody put out any Costa Rica videos of the
Yeah, so I woke up early this morning before my girls got up, and I was just trolling the interwebs looking for footage of race recon. And from the best one I can see is, and if anyone wants to go look, Dan Sota. He's a former, he's like Belgian or Dutch, but he's a cyclocross racer. He put out some footage, and it doesn't look like anything. Like, there are a couple like wet spots. Like, there's this one spot which is really interesting, where they have to actually cross a train track, but they're not going to cross the train track because there's concern, like, in that area, trains will just park on the track and block it for a long time. So they're actually going underneath like this culvert. And I saw Dan Soto ride that culvert, and it looked like it'd be about like 6 inches of water. But I've also heard that there is right after the first pro feed, like a few miles after, there is a water crossing that is similar to the Mid-South. So like there's a like sneak route where there are like stones, and you can walk across that'll take 30-40 seconds, or you can ride through it. And I'm very curious, because I was listening to a podcast the other day, and a guy was on his moto doing the ride, and he said that when he rode through it on his motorcycle, that it was up to his thighs when he went through the water. So that was like
wow, that's significant.
But yeah, I don't think the rain is going to be an issue. I mean, it's the Midwest, so it's always windy and it dries out. I mean, I think the north-south roads and will be probably a little bit muddy at points, but unless there is rain like the day of or the night before, I just don't see it
Yeah.
being. I don't see it being a factor.
No, I was looking at Thursday. There's a like 15 to 52% chance of rain. More like at midnight on Thursday, and then Friday, I believe there's more chance also, but it's about the same percentage.
Right.
And not a whole lot of. Let's see the rain total like 0.7 inches, so not significant. So I think the internet is worried too much for nothing. I think we'll be okay.
Yeah.
Because I was talking to Jacob, Cassie's husband, last night, and yeah, he's kind of like, yeah, it's like it's not a whole lot of rain that they're forecasting, so that shouldn't be enough to make it the 20. What was it? 2022? Was it mud year? 23? One of those.
23. Yeah, I think 23 and 2015 were the two mud years.
Yeah.
So.
The year I did it too, 22. Yeah, 22 was muddy. Nobody spoke about it because all the roadie pros hadn't really, wasn't as they hadn't all started doing gravel yet like that. But I mean, they were, but Unbound wasn't as big as it was. But my Unbound, we hiked over 4 miles of mud when I did it. So,
no way. I would.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did hear though that Lifetime and the Unbound organizers are actually like really trying to do like live time, like day of course alterations if it does get too muddy.
Wow.
So they listened to me, and they were
like,
hey,
yeah, you've been complaining about it. Yeah.
I've been complaining. For the amateurs, don't do it. For the pros, make them suffer.
Yeah, no, seriously. Yeah, the amateurs. I mean, you have time, but I don't know. I think if they're gonna reroute it for the pros, and everybody should be rerouted.
Yeah, dude, it still comes down to me. It's like these pros, like if they trash a bike, no big deal. Like they get a brand new bike.
Yeah.
If you or I trash a bike, like
it's money out of the bank,
thousands of dollars potentially.
Yeah.
Like just and that is just not worth it to me.
No, absolutely. I would get up and throw my bike on my shoulder any day.
Yeah.
Shall we?
Well, let's do predictions. Let's do Unbound predictions. Who do you think's going to win?
I don't think starting with 2023, not the same person will ever win Unbound back to back. But I'm thinking Brennan. I'm thinking Brennan's year. I think they're gonna let him get in that break. And they're gonna be sorry that he's in that break. I think I'm gonna go with Brennan for the men, and Lawrence Stevens for the women.
Stevens for the women. Yeah. Nice. All right, I am going to pick Mads Schmidt for winner of Traka. I'm picking him. I think he's on the Specialized team too, so who knows? Like, maybe he'll have some workhorses for him, or maybe he gets in the break. But Mads Schmidt. He's gonna win. He's gonna solo away. He's not gonna wait for a sprint. He's gonna break away. And for the women, I think it's gonna be Guy Schurz.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
Not if Sophia cuts her off during the sprint.
I think Sophia is gonna have a bad mechanical day. I don't wish that on her. Yeah, but I think that there's going to be something that goes wrong in her race, and she's going to be stuck in the second group, and everyone's going to look to her to go chase.
And then she's going to be like, "No, I have my teammate up there. I don't care."
Exactly.
Yeah. So awesome. All right, and are we going to try to do, if we have time? I think we're kind of thinking of maybe watching the live stream for a little bit, not long, when things get exciting. So we'll pop on and kind of go over it, maybe at the start, and then maybe close to the finish, if we can. Depending on family time and responsibilities, but I think it would be kind of cool to check it out.
Yeah, I think it would. I'll bring maybe Emmy on as a guest, and we'll have her commentate for us.
There you go. That's right. I'll have my old fashioned ready. Yeah. All right.
Sweet. Well, short but sweet. And as always, thanks to all our partners. If you guys got questions, shoot us an email. What is it? listeners@mixedsurfacespodcast.com. Or, drop a comment on YouTube or Instagram. Feel free to DM us. If you have interest in any of our partners, Obed, Volet, Olive, Reeland, or the bike shops, if you're looking to get a new bike, we've helped coordinate several sales of bikes and things like that, and we're always happy to do that. So feel free to reach out. We're pretty receptive. But thanks, as always, and Hope everybody has a good week, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, guys. Till next week.